Alright, so for my
Name?
Alejandra Carreño Garzón.
No.
So for my art exhibition and my art pieces, I started with no idea of what I wanted to do. I did not know. And my art teacher, he told me, well, why don't you try just doodling? Because I was really interested into graffiti and tattoo art and like this modern sort of type of art, styles of art. And so I started doing around with different colors and mixing them up. And I started seeing various shapes that I was wanting to do, which was primarily like shapes of anatomy. And I, from a long time, I've liked anatomy. I've always like tried doing anatomy and everything, and like in other classes and everything when I was just doodling around. So this is how I started like combining both of the anatomy and the graffiti art into my first piece, which is called Isolating from Superficiality. Why is it called like this? Well, because at the beginning I did not know what I was drawing, but at the end I was seeing the shape. I finished it with the shape I wanted, and the colors, how they're in the nucleus of the person. That's how I was feeling. Like I actually wanted to express my feelings. I'm not a very I don't talk about my feelings very much, so I use my art to express my feelings. This is how like I'm showing that my feelings are compressed and they're trying to get out with the colors. How like in the beginning, in the center, you have like 3 different colors: the orange, the pink, and the purple, and then it's spreading around. It's spreading out. I also used another media, like in change of media, because I wanted to show that like juxtaposition between the two medias. And that's also showing the exterior, the strength that's seen outside, yet you still have that interior very conflicted. I go from this one to Unwhispered Thoughts. For this one, I wanted to use also more like pencil drawing and explore more anatomy. So I used John Davis' Anatomy for the Artist, the book. So I was looking more at the anatomy, and I started looking at drawings from the Renaissance period, and like for example Michelangelo, or also looking at artists like Degas to get more on the anatomy as pencil drawers and charcoal. And in Whisper Thoughts, I wanted to do the juxtaposition as well with the pen, with the graffiti and the pencil drawing. At the beginning, I started trying out with lettering. I didn't really like it afterwards, but when I was doing it, I noticed I wanted to put shy, because that's what I was expressing here. Not because I'm shy, but because I am more like shy to express my feelings, to reveal myself. And this is like a mask. That's the Whisper Thoughts, because this represents a mask on the person. Only like the mouth that's not even talking is what you can see. Afterwards, I passed on, after looking more at Michelangelo, I wanted to do more sculpting. I looked at Michelangelo's David, and I was very inspired to do something very realistic, very much like a proper hand, proper feet, things like this. And then I passed on to Against Fear. In my piece Against Fear, I use different techniques. For example, at first I was looking at how to mold it. So I used alginate and I used plaster to make the mold of for the plaster, to put the plaster in. And at first I did it with my mom because she's my model, and I was pouring the whole mixture, and I told my mom what she needed to do, but what shape she needed to put the hands, how much strength to give to the hands so they could express what I wanted to express. And all the things that I was showing her, because I did different trials to get the right mixture for the alginate, to get the perfect mixture for the plaster afterwards, and the perfect look. I always told her do very strong, intense sort of shapes with your hand, and this is what I saw, and this is what I was feeling. I was trying to liberate. For this one, I used also tissue paper as a base, and I covered it with sand to represent quicksand, as I'm still trapped, and I'm trying to get out of something that's very difficult to get out, which is like quicksand. So this is the symbolism. I also use for all my pieces this technique of coloring to make it very realistic, which is based on sanding water pastels like powder, and also using different like trial errors of acrylics with different colors, and then using black to emphasize the lines, because I had to sculpt them with sculpting tools. They didn't come out as well as I wanted, and I really wanted to look realistic. And then afterwards I did I put white on top to give it that light, and then washed it off with a sponge to mix all the different colors. So this is how I achieved this all my pieces with the coloring. I also used in this one on my next piece, humanizing a black cover to represent that there's a person there still trapped. For humanizing, I moved on with the feeling of how it's expressing, how it's called humanizing. Like I'm now feeling more that I can be like human, because humans express their feelings. Humans need to express their feelings, need to liberate somehow. And this is more like, and I use the blood because that's what I see that represents like humans, that flesh, that life. To make this, the blood, I started with PVA. I wanted to do a mold sort of like this one that I have with plaster, but it wasn't working out, so I spread it out. And once it was drying with a really, really thin layer, and I started just like wrapping it, and I really liked it because I mixed it with cola ink to get the color. I really liked it, but I knew it lacked something, which was like that thick sort of globs that you get of the blood. So I used, I blew the ink from the pens, so I blew the little tubes, and I did the veins. From this piece, I realized that I was like, oh, humans. But there are many humans that actually don't express their feelings. So I was like, why don't I look at what type of thing expresses their feelings? And I came out with like animals. Animals are very, very, they say the truth colors. So like, for example, if they're hungry, they're gonna be mad and they're gonna express it because they don't have that media of language, or they're just like that. They express what they need. So for this, I went to the zoo and I took pictures, and I realized, well, these animals are caged, so their voices are unheard. So I wanted to do here my next piece, which is appreciating feeling, and I wanted to do that juxtaposition between what the trappedness of something that really wants to talk, and I'm a free person, but I don't talk. So it's that juxtaposition. So I used again my plaster and my coloring techniques, and I'm giving feeling I'm representing feeling through like this like sort of hypothermia looks like the color. So the person's suffering. So it's now showing emotion. Yet the color of the green is the same color as you can see here of the green bluish of the water. So it's showing that this person is trapped inside here. And I wanted to show that like it's a book, because you see like, oh, this is so beautiful. So it's that juxtaposition also of the beautiful and the ugly, which you can see in my pieces. And here it's like, oh, it's like, but it could be about animals, something beautiful, but then you open it, it's like, no, it's something else. So it's that caged animal, and there's something caged inside as well. For my next piece, my still tattoo, I looked at Dan Witt's and Francis Bacon, because Francis Bacon, I was inspired by him because he was looking at animals as well. So Francis Bacon does this, does the animals, but like in a sort of gruesome way. So that's like, but they're dead now. So I wanted to show that difference of me being the animal, like me animalizing here, and the cage. So because when I went to the zoo, I felt this like cageness, and this is what I wanted to express. I wanted to express that I wanted to speak out. I also took some pictures of metals, because vars are something very complex to do. So I wanted to be very precise on how I wanted to do them. I did I used sponges, and I did very precise sort of like touches, so it looked very realistic. And from Francis Bacon, I also got the idea of putting the face in the middle, because you see, like in his paintings and in his documents when he takes the pictures, there's like always this notion of someone in the middle, but as well in his paintings you can see like the Pope screaming, those popes screaming. So I wanted to show that's like that soul wanting to scream. From this, I got the idea, well, I'm looking at tattoos. I started with tattoos. I want a tattoo. That's what I want to do. I want to imprint someone. So, and I also want to keep that idea of animals. So what I did in my next piece, what was actually done in separating from safeness, I put the animals here. As you can see, the face of a lion and the face of a white tiger. I put them caged inside the people, like the person that here is caged, that's still like, so it's like trapness inside trapness. And I also continued the separating from that feeling, and then that part of liberating, yet still being confused with the tribals, and keeping that notion of tattoo of modern art, and doing something like modern art combined with traditional art, which is the sculptures and the anatomy. For my next piece, Unwrapping from Beneath, I looked at, I remember this, I went to the Tate's gallery, and I remember this, it was like an anti-Nazi message sort of exhibition from John Herfield. And I looked at these Adolf Hitler pictures, or, well, he redid these pictures for the propaganda and everything, because he was a communist. And then he showed that Hitler had like something in his soul, but it was poor of like avarice and poor of like it didn't really represent any freedom. So this is what I wanted to show here. I wanted to like represent that person, because I haven't given like the whole picture. I want to show everything, and I still want to keep here that the person's dead and it's never gonna move from there. And however, you still have something here that is like trying to come down. So this is a coffin, but this is trying to come out of the bag. I want to go out. So that's that transition of, oh look, it's starting now. It's continuing to come out. And the animals here, the monkeys represent that, like that they're very hyperactive and they always have to move around. But here they're like in a very, very small place, and they're looking up. So they're saying like, come on now, when are you gonna like reveal yourself? And from this piece, I also got the idea, well, I actually do feel liberated. I felt that I was expressing myself. I actually had a talk with my mom, and she was like, why do you do these pieces like this? And I'm like, I don't really, I sort of designed them, but they always come out a bit different than how I think. I always want to add more elements. Like the big coffin, I thought, oh wait, maybe this, but I added the coffin because I wanted to show more of that death, but yeah, that life in the legs. From this piece, I move on to On the Edge to Liberation. This is my piece to say I actually did something with my art. I actually did express myself. In this piece, I'm showing how the contrast between the body being free, being trapped, and the feet being free, to the body being free completely right here, as if I was standing here. Yet there's still this little thing that's trapping me, but you can't see any animals anymore because the animal has left. So it's me that's the only thing left to let go, and I'm almost there. However, there's still something, because as you can see here in the gap, I can still go. It's a cage. It's a box that's caging me, but if you see, the hands would be able to come out. However, there's something here. It's like myself. It's trapping me. So there's that. Yes, I want to come out, and I'm able to, but there's something left. However, you can see a difference between my start and my finish. There is that transition of yes, I can, and there's this also a sort of gooish thing here, and it's meant to be. Like me going out of something that is now so soft, so like easy to come out of, different to like maybe quicksand that is so trapping. So this is like the transition I went through, and I think I have actually expressed myself, even though I have talked to my mom like, oh yeah, this is why I did it, and she's like, oh, that's very interesting, I didn't know you were feeling all these things, because well, I felt all this from my past, from like I've had conflicting things that happened to me, and she knows that, but I think I spoke out with my art, so this is sort of my life represents. Yes.